Hi, I'm Chloe and I'm a perinatal worker from the East Hertfordshire Family Centre Service. Today we will be talking about parental and infant stress and just looking at some ways in which we can reduce this. So stress can be caused by many different factors. So these could include financial stresses, environmental stresses, health stresses, stress at work, or just any general kind of stress that you might have. And if you do have children, especially young children and babies, you may have some stresses surrounding them. And this is perfectly normal, but where possible it is beneficial to yourself and to your baby or young child to kind of reduce the stress as much as possible. So the NHS recommend that including some form of physical activity in your day is a highly beneficial way when feeling stressed, just to reduce some of those stressful thoughts and feelings, and it can help to clear your mind a little bit. And you could choose to incorporate this however you wish. So at the moment, you could choose running or walking, and other sort of forms of activity such as swimming or going to the gym. They could also be very good to help clear your mind. Another way in which you can reduce your stress is to try and connect and socialise with those around you. So at the moment, this could be done by phoning or video calling some family and friends, and then also meeting up with family and friends as well. That's another fantastic way, and it can help just to share your worries or stresses with a person that you trust, and they might be able to offer you some reassurance and just help make you feel a little bit better about the situation. If you are a parent, especially with young children, it's important to fit in a bit of me time. So obviously, especially if you've got a really young baby, this can be quite difficult to fit in a bit of time for yourself because, if your baby's asleep, there might be other things that you need to get on with doing. But even if you can just fit in 30 minutes a day, then you should see a big difference in the way that you're feeling. So this could just simply be having a nice bubble bath, taking time just to catch up on some TV or read a book, and this could potentially be done when baby's in bed, or with another parent or carer, just to give you that little bit of time just to unwind and prevent any more stress building up. And the NHS also recommend avoiding unhealthy habits. So relying on caffeine, alcohol or cigarettes, they could end up causing more problems than actually curing the existing problems. So they would recommend to avoid going down that route. And it is important where possible to remain as positive as can be. Now that could be easier said than done, but even if you do have some negative aspects going on in your life, just trying to think about the positive aspects that you have going on, and in the hopes that the positives can outweigh the negatives if you sort of have a positive mindset, and that would be really beneficial as well. And if you're a parent struggling with worries in relation to your child, just remember that there are plenty of services out there available that can provide support in lots of different areas. So you can always contact your GP regarding yourself or your baby, your health visitor again about yourself or baby, and also the family centre can help in many different ways. So if there's anything you think we could help with, then please do get in touch with us. Babies can also feel stressed. And this is when the hormone cortisol, or otherwise known as the stress hormone, is present in your baby, and it can have negative effects on your baby's sort of development if present quite frequently. So babies can feel stressed for lots of different reasons. So sometimes it can just be the case that they want to be close with you. Obviously it could be because they need something, they're hungry, they're tired, they need some attention really. But if babies are exposed to high levels of stress across a long period of time, this is when what's known as toxic stress can start to form. Now this is not going to happen, just if your baby's crying a little bit, a little bit each day, because obviously all babies cry, every day probably. All babies do get upset at times, but it's just about meeting those needs kind of as soon as you possibly can. If your baby needs feeding, just looking for those cues, and trying to get in there as soon as possible before the stress does start to set in. You know, if a baby is left to cry, you know, for hours on end on a daily basis, and that leads into the weeks and the months, that's when we're going to start to see a build-up of this toxic stress, which can be really, really harmful for a baby's development. So it's important that we try and keep the stress levels down for your baby. So, you know, they can also pick up on other stress. So if you're feeling really, really stressed about something, or the whole household is just, you know, going through a stressful period, that can definitely sort of relay through to your baby. So it's important where possible to try and just keep calm for the sake of your baby. Where you can. I know it can be hard, but just where possible, trying to just keep those stress levels at bay, because your baby will pick up on it. So some other ways that you can reduce your baby's stress is just keeping them close and cuddling them. So they cannot be cuddled too much, and babies love to be near you. They feel safe and secure with you. So just by keeping them nearby, that will really, really keep them really calm, with as limited stress as possible. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, just by meeting their needs and attending to their needs as and when they come. So, you know, if they do start crying for something, that's fine. Just go and, you know, make sure you attend to them as soon as possible. But that is all from me today. If you do need any further support from the Family Centre, please put a comment on this video on Facebook, or feel free to give us a call on 0300 123 7572. Thank you. Bye.